Well, it's time for a special playoff edition of Picks. We've got 3 games that we're going to highlight and kind of discuss more in depth than what we normally do with our just regular Pick'em show. So, first up, we've got East from the SOC 1, 8-2 on the season. They're going to take on Waterford, who's 9-1 on the year. And just looking at what the Wildcats have put together so far this season, they're 9-1, haven't lost since week 3, and they have a 3-1 record against winning teams, 1-1 in one possession games. They haven't really played a quality opponent over the last 2 weeks. Week 8 they played Racine Southern, where they won 14-6. We saw them play Notre Dame at the start of the season, handled the Titans pretty well. East did in their last week. I did get the chance to talk to James Gifford about that Notre Dame game and kind of what they're working on for the playoffs. We touched on it in the Top Performers segment of our other episode of Southeast Ohio Sports Talk, where they're going to try and get all their best 11 players on the field. So they've split time between Ethan Gifford and Ethan Carver throughout the year at running back. Now they're working to move Ethan Gifford into split end. Worked out for him last week. He had about 100 yards receiving. 90 of those came on 1 catch. Did score 2 touchdowns through the air in a short amount of duty, which is a concern because I talked to James Gifford. You know, he hasn't really had to play in a game. All his games, the shortest margin that they've been decided by is 24 points, and that was a loss to Oak Hill. So I asked him, you know, are you concerned that all your games have been blowouts? I mean, second team, freshman, JV, they're normally getting in the second half, sometimes as early as the second quarter, and that's certainly not preparing them for the playoffs. But he looked at it from a positive side of things, whereas Waterford's had to battle in some of their games and play 4 quarters. East is rested. And they're ready to go. And I think that's a great take on things because they've got a chance to rest up. They haven't had to battle in some of these games. And really, they've dominated in those wins. So why not give them a chance to rest up? I mean, there's no point in risking injury. They're going in relatively healthy into this. They've got a great offensive line, one of the best in Division 7. So, I mean, they're ready for Waterford. I think East has just as good of a chance to win this game as Waterford does, and I'm taking the Tartans.
This is the year East breaks through and wins the playoff game. I do too. Waterford only beat Millward by 10, and again, like you mentioned, Racine Southern only won by 8. They really had to battle to win those 2 games, or they'd be behind East in points. You know, possibly even out of the playoffs without those 2 wins. That was a great boy on points there. If it was Harvest Prep, it was like, oh boy, Harvest Prep winning 90-7 last week over Fairfield Christian Academy.
Oh, goodness.
Wow. Not a team I would want to play in week 11, but getting Waterford on the points was huge. I think this is a game East can definitely win. East has got I think the better offense for one, and second, the discipline. I noticed in week 9 against Sims Valley, they really improved from a discipline standpoint as far as taking. You know, I thought there were some questionable hits by Sims Valley after the play, but East didn't faze them. They let it go. There were a lot of flags thrown in the game, but East really did a better job discipline-wise. I've got East. I think they're prepared.
Well, yeah, they definitely got they definitely have a dominant team this year, and Coach Gifford really has done a lot with that. And they've had good winning seasons the past couple of years. And their O-line is really good. They got Brady Douthit as their quarterback. He's done really good. I think East is going to get a win in the playoffs this Friday night.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun to watch. They're definitely going to be prepared to go up there and take them on. I know you're making the trip up there, Ken, so that's going to be exciting for you to see. I really can't wait to see how they match up with Waterford. And I'm pretty sure that Notre Dame also scored 14 points against Southern.
Yeah,
so Waterford put up the same amount of points against Southern as Notre Dame did. And I think that says a lot about them. Of course, that's not a fair comparison, but just an interesting take on things when you look at this game. Yeah, it really is. So East has shown the ability to put up 60 points, 50 points with relative ease. I think the offense continues to click. They're not going to put up 50, but I could see them scoring 30, 40 on the way to a win, and they might need to. I don't know if Waterford's going to come out with their offense clicking as well. But East has been on a roll lately on offense ever since the second half of the Sims Valley game, like you said, and Coach Gifford has said. And they're really ready to see how far they can go in the playoffs. I think they can go far if they can get over this hurdle in the opening game.
Yep.
Well, Hunter, despite the way last week went, Portsmouth West 9-1. They've got a lot to be proud about, and they're hosting a home playoff game. They've got Martin's Ferry. and Martins Ferry is 7-3 on the season. West has just had a great season, and I think when you look at their schedule, they've played some tough teams. They've played some close games as well. They beat Colgrove. That was Colgrove's only loss of the season. Also went into Raceland, beat the Rams. They've tested themselves, and I think that's important. And you've got a home atmosphere. It's going to be crazy on the west side.
Oh, yeah.
Martins Ferry, just looking at their season, they started 1-3.
Yeah.
And since then, obviously, they've won 6 straight to get to this point. They're 3-1 in one possession games. West is 3-0. They've beaten only 3 opponents, Martins Ferry has, with winning records. So I think West should be considered the favorite in this game, and I think that West is going to win this game. They've got to capitalize on their scoring opportunities, though. When you're a ball control offense, you take a lot of time off the clock. You need to cash in with scoring drives, and I think West is going to be able to do that in this game.
Yeah, I have West, and I have West by quite a few. Martins Ferry lost to, one of their losses was to Lindsley, West Virginia, who is 9-1. Lindsley gave up 28 points to Warren, who's a Division III school up a little further northeast of here. Warren's 0-10. And Lindsley only won by 21 points. West has handled every challenge in front of it. Anytime they played a team that is not, at its best, they've taken care of business and taken care of business very, very handily. Yeah. Only loss was to Berg, who obviously we know how great Berg is. I've got West by a running clock margin in this one.
It's going to be it's definitely going to be a good game. I've watched these guys all year. This senior class, they really have something special. They're a group of leaders. They know how to work a football team. The O-line that they have is nothing but pretty much seniors. They're really good. They've been together ever since Pee Wee football, and throughout junior high, they went undefeated their 7th and 8th grade year. Mm-hmm. They definitely have what it takes to win this game Friday night. I think West is going to get it done by a sizable margin.
How about the coaching job for Ben Johnson? Went 3-7 last year, 9-1 this year.
Yeah,
just the year-to-year improvement is incredible.
Yeah, I can put that to bed because he's done an excellent job.
He has.
He set up.
And we got your Pendletons now. They brought a huge improvement to our team, and they've done really good.
Yeah, Jared and Trevin are having them and having West Side guys like that on the staff. Yeah. Then you have 2 head coaches that coach in the SOC1. In addition to that, Dan McDavid, who coached at Green, and then Todd Gillen, who coached at East. Yeah. And they're both great minds. And having them on the staff has also enhanced what they can bring to the table.
Coach G really has brought a lot to our team. I didn't know him really too much at the beginning of the season, but I've got to know him, and he's an awesome guy. He's done a lot for our team, and he really knows how to.
Yeah, he's a first-class guy.
Yeah, he knows how to work the game of football. He really does do good.
And when you've got players that are willing to come back to a program, that just says a lot about the coaching staff and what they think of the coaches and the foundation that they're building. When you look at Northwest, I mean, they might have finished 3-7 on this season, but they've got 2 coaches that used to play that came back to coach with Coach Monomon. I mean, that says a lot about the kind of teams that these schools are building in West and even Northwest, if you just look at that.
Yeah. You got to find guys that are prideful, not only that know what they're doing, but are prideful in what you do. I feel like that having the pride in what your school comes from, what it represents, and knowing what it represents is so important in building and establishing a winning tradition. You can't just have somebody in there who does not understand the culture. If you don't understand the culture and what something's founded on, there's nothing that you can build there, and you can't really gain the respect of players because you don't know what circumstances, what backgrounds they come from. Knowing and getting guys that understand and respect the area is so huge on staffs, especially in Division 5, 6, 7 schools.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, last but not least, we've got Wheelersburg, haven't lost all season long. They've got Bishop Reddy coming down from Columbus, and they're 7-3 on the season. Wheelersburg has absolutely obliterated everything in their path this season. No games decided by fewer than 24 points. That game was against Jackson. That was decided by 24 points. The Ironmen have had a solid season as well. So obviously Wheelersburg has tested themselves with some solid opponents. They're ready for this game. The most points they've given up, you talk about Wheelersburg's offense a lot, most points they've given up was 20 to Waverly. I mean, their defense, you can't say enough about their defense. You really can. And we've talked about the depth all year long, but when you can sub guys freely in and out like that, especially on the defensive line, I've only been to one Wheelersburg game this season, but I was talking with someone. They say they have a special defensive line that comes in for third downs.
Yeah, they do. They matched up. They had Chris Bailey did not. Chris Bailey did not start. He came in on third down. He had 2 sacks.
Wow.
off the backup.
I mean, that's Alabama type things. There's college
definitely.
teams that don't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, a special defensive line for third down in high school, that's incredible. And
Yeah.
that just goes to
And
show.
they're good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
It's definitely different for high school football.
Yeah. And they've shut out 2 opponents this year. They're expected to continue their success in this game. I think it's fair to say that they're going to win this game, but let's just look at what Bishop Ready's done on the season. They're 7-3 this year. They've got a 2-3 record against winning teams, so that's something to definitely note. They're averaging just 4 points per game in losses. That doesn't bode well for them. We talked about Wheelersburg's defense. They've been shut out once this season as well. They do have a 3-0 record in 1-possession games. Wheelersburg hasn't had a 1-possession game. It's not going to be a 1-possession game here between these 2 teams.
I don't. You don't even really need to read a whole lot about Bishop Ready now. This game's going to go. Berg in a shutout, and Trent Salyers, who's only 1 yard away from breaking the all-time school passing record set by Eddie Miller III back in 2013, will get it on the first play, offensive play of the game. He's outstanding. They're going to come in prepared, and they won't miss a beat. This will be a running clock game. They've just shown no signs of let up.
Yeah, Friday night they gave West a run for their money. I think our guys held up and they fought hard, but they just didn't have what it took to win in the end. I think they done really good as a team, and they definitely didn't just give up. They kept on fighting. But Wheelersburg, they got that long depth chart, and it's just insane.
Yeah.
Tanner Holden and Trent Salyers, they definitely made a good connection during that game against the Senators. But Tanner, he had a good competition with Cody Staggs.
Yeah.
I think he really
it
held
was
his
fun
own.
to watch. It was so much fun to watch.
Especially that first play.
Yeah.
The offense for West, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Cody got that long touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
It was a good game.
I thought, we're going to be in a shootout here.
Yeah.
I mean, West's first 3 series really had control of the football game. I mean, they did an excellent job defensively, made several great sticks.
Yeah.
I thought, first 8 minutes, I mean, we got a ball game. We got a serious ball game here.
I thought it was really going to be a close ball game.
And it really felt closer than the final score indicated. I talked with several people after the game. It did not feel like a 41-7 ball game because West had the ball 5 times inside, or more than 5 times inside the Wheelersburg 45. But every time West got down there, Wheelersburg's defense was so iron strong down there. Was punishing the run. Garrett Hurd, bless his heart, he ran it out of 2 or 3 tackles, and every time he did, there were 4 or 5 more guys there make the stop.
I mean, he's got the heart. He's got the heart for it, and he ran the ball good Friday night. But Wheelersburg's defense is just—they're huge, and his size is just.
They're not only huge; they're fast. They're fast downhill.
Right.
When you try to run the ball, you can't run around. You can't run at them, and it's very, very hard to run around them because they're so disciplined. They keep their hips squared to the line of scrimmage, and it's really, really hard. To get those bend back plays that he is so good at, and Dylan Bradford is so good at, because they're so disciplined on that end of the football. They're disciplined in all areas, but especially defensively. I have not seen a front six in quite some time that is as disciplined as Wheelersburg's front 6 is.
Right. But
I definitely agree. Go ahead, Hunter, with what you were going to say.
I'm going to have to say, I think West, or what were we talking about? We got talking about that.
Wheelersburg and Bishop Ready. Who you got in that one?
I think Berg's going to end up getting it done. I mean, West, they put up a huge fight, and I eat, sleep, and breathe West football. I've done it for my entire life.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I just think Wheelersburg's going to get it done against Bishop Ready.
Yeah.
And both of those, West and Wheelersburg, they have a lot of respect for each other, rightfully so. They both had great seasons. But I think, how about preparing for the playoffs against a team that's undefeated in your last week of the season?
Yeah.
West and Wheelersburg are going to be ready for the playoffs because of that game last Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, it just prepared them on a big
they'll
stage.
meet again.
Yeah, they could meet again. And I think now that's the perfect transition, because in that bracket there's another local team in things. Just looking at the other playoff games, Johnstown 8-2, they will take on Oak Hill. The winner of that game will play the winner of West and Martins Ferry. Haven't really got the chance to look into that one, so we're not going to pick these games, so we do kind of know what Oak Hill has. They did cancel that last game against Green, and that bodes well for them in this game because they got a chance to rest up and get healthy. They've got a big roster,
2 weeks to prepare.
and they're going to run right down your throat. They're not going to change the game plan. They've got the big keys to do it up front on the line of scrimmage, and they've got weapons in the backfield. So Oak Hill is a force to be reckoned with. We might see them against West in the second round.
Yeah.
Looking at some other out of district and other regions, Colgrove 9-1. They're taking on Shenandoah, who's 8-2 on the season. How about the year from the Hornets?
Yeah, outstanding.
It's
so
been
happy
crazy
for that community because they support football so well. They're the center of the county now, football wise.
Yeah.
As much as it hates, Ironton hates it, they are.
Yeah.
Colgrove, I'm really honoring Tommy Pinkerman's memory by winning the OVC and going 9-1 with how much he did for the youth football program over there and how well those players have always played, how gritty they are, is great to see. Coach Ferguson's done an excellent job at Colgrove.
And Hunter and I were talking before we did the show. Colgrove, of course, played Portsmouth West, and that game really set the tone, I think, for what the season could bring for West. Of course, at that point, we didn't know what Colgrove was going to be. West was Colgrove's only loss of the season, and they beat them decisively in that game as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they did 28-6.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at Colgrove, they've certainly got the defense to get it done. They forced 6 turnovers in their season finale against Rock Hill.
Yeah.
They've got Nate Harmon, who plays quarterback, and he comes in and plays running back, plays safety.
Chemo Baldwin.
He does it all. Chemo Baldwin, Josh Walk,
Yeah.
big 350-pound defensive tackle. They've got the team to
some
compete in the
physical
playoffs as well.
Yeah. They should do.
And last but not least, we've got Waverly and their high-scoring offense. They finished 7-3, lost a close one against West as well.
they did really
gave
good
West,
that game.
everything they could handle in
Clayton
that one.
Howe is
They
a
definitely
great
put some
game
heart into that
manager.
game.
And more than a game manager, just wings the ball around. They got Kane Jordan healthy, and Drew Kritzweiser is a man-child at running back. He just controls the tempo of the game with the way he runs, and he can return kicks too, as he had the kick return touchdown against West, a 99-yarder there.
Well, all the guys that they had down whenever we played them in week was it 9?
Yeah, it was week 8.
Or week 8, yeah. We played them in week 8, and they had quite a few guys down. They had like 2 or 3 guys down, but all those guys are healthy now and ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a tough one. Valley View's 10-0 on the season. So
Yeah,
it's
they're
gonna
a
be tough one.
high-powered scoring offense. I do
Yeah.
not think if my memory serves me correctly, I do not think they've scored less than 34 points in a game this year. It's going to be really tough for Waverly, but you just never know.
That's going to be a Big 12 type of game. We might have a 62
Yeah.
to 60 finish or something in that one.
It's going to be a
Valley-
high-scoring game.
Valley View's defense has been very, very impressive, but I agree. I think it will be a high-scoring game because Waverly put up 20 against Wheelersburg, and I do not think Valley View's better than Berg is. So I think Waverly can not only put up the points, but maybe make the game close because they got the offense to do that.
Right. It's definitely going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Kane Jordan, he's put up some major points this year, and he's put up some big numbers. He's done really good.
Easton Wolf as well.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Phoenix was behind
Easton
him.
really has done good.
It's just the defense. It comes down to the defense for Waverly. Can
Yeah.
they step up and get it done on a big stage? I think
Yeah.
they can. Like we said, anything can happen. It's playoff time. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, games tighten up.
It's not like the regular season. Anything can happen.
They tighten. The games really tighten up. I think it was more tighter in the earlier years when we had only 6 regions in the postseason and in the playoffs, but it's still really very, very tight in the playoffs, no matter if it's the 1 or the 8 playing.
Yeah, exactly.
And we would like to apologize for all the background noise we've got going on here. I guess they're having a party without us here at the Daily Times. I don't really know what's going on, but hopefully you guys were able to hear us and our analysis of these 3 playoff games, as well as the other playoff games involving some of the local teams as well. As always, for Hunter Staggs and Kevin Colley, thank you guys for checking out our special playoff picks edition, and we look forward. Hopefully, we'll have 3 games to preview next week from Scioto County Sports as well.
That would be great.
It would be
I
awesome.
want to see Westburg and East in the regional finals with a chance to go to state semifinals.
I would like to see a rematch against Wheelersburg and West.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
That would be-
the week 13 regional final would be amazing.
Exactly.
That atmosphere would be something else.
Well, thank you guys, as always, for checking us out on Southeast Ohio Sports Talk. Make sure you share and let us know what you think. As always, thank you guys so much for watching.